Today's story is called The Mitten, adapted and illustrated by Jan Brett. This is a story of a boy named Nicky who wants a pair of snow white mittens. Baba, his grandmother, knits him a pair of mittens, but she tells him not to lose them. When Nicky goes out in the snow to play, he loses one of the mittens. Let's find out what happens to the mitten, why it is never the same again, and how Nicky gets it back. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. Why would he never find his mitten? But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally, Baba made them. After she finished, she said, "When you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens." So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. Do you see the mitten? A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit big kickers, he moved over. What are kickers? Yes, his big feet. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along, having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat. He decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. Do you think it's getting stuffed in there? As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down when he decided to move in also. The mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog rumbled, but when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in. See his talons? Sharp. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, and when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. What are his diggers? Yes, his feet. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox, trotting by, stopped to investigate. What does it mean to investigate? He meant to check it out, see what was going on. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy or sleepy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. Do you think he's going to fit in that mitten? We'll see. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be. But what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged too many times its size. But Baba's good knitting held fast. My goodness. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. What do you think's gonna happen next? Let's find out. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Achoo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. On the way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens. Look at the mitten now compared to the other one. Do you think the mitten is ever the same again? Nicky wanted a pair of snow-white mittens so badly that Baba finally made them for him. What do you think he said to Baba? Maybe. Why do you think all those animals crawled into Nicky's white mitten? What were the animals thinking? What happened to the mitten when more animals crawled in? Baba is looking at one little mitten and one big mitten. She must be wondering how that mitten got so big. How did one mitten get to be bigger? Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.